And alright. I just got out of a meeting. No, it's terrible. I didn't get out of a meeting. Oh man. I kinda... Oh, I guess the stuff you're comfortable with. Maybe like... You don't consider it to be work if you find something that you actually enjoy. And and when you're uninspired, I guess, it feels like work, I guess. It's probably the reason why, I guess, there's... I'm gonna go 20 miles an hour. Almost got a hybrid. I'd say like and I think that's the part about what people don't get is when you're not thinking about therapy, or when you're realizing something that's great and something that you in your life decide to be able to make, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but I'm trying to go to a certain point. When people are fully inspired, they feel invigorated, like they can do almost anything, or like they could do a lot of stuff. But feeling invigorated is like feeling invigorated about something is like I'm turning that off. Feeling invigorated is like it's like, for example, when I feel invigorated when I finish a painting or make a drawing that I like, that I think is really cool, and I think that's invigorating. It feels like I can take on the world with my art, and I can show people exactly the way that I feel, and the way that it's even profitable, because of the simple fact that I've honed my craft for going on 25 years. So I mean, granted, I can't do every style, but I am familiar with a lot of people's different artwork, different kinds of artwork, different styles of artwork, and different types of. That was really cool. Different types of I don't know, things that I'm... It's like, you believe in something, right? You believe in what you want, right? Like, you believe in the things that you're doing. And those thoughts are based on sometimes fiction that you make inside your own head. Like, the way I base it on fiction is I see something that I really enjoy. Like, when I heard of Deadpool destroying the planet that was alive, or the planet that was the id of the, I guess, something. It's like, and I think that it correlates between taking on big projects and realizing that there are variables that you're not going to see out there that you try to make, and people don't get morally bankrupt whenever they lose something, or whenever they're gone. They think of how they will go on, or how they will manage, and in some cases they don't. But I've noticed that a lot of times I bet on it's like there are people that have superstition about gambling, and superstition about taking a gamble in life. And that gamble in life can make it can make a big difference in your life. But realizing that the gambling itself, or that because gambling is based on herd mentality, and I dived into a train. Awesome. Gambling is based on a herd mentality, okay? It's based on the herd mentality thinks that there are so many different possibilities, okay? So what that herd mentality thinks as of believing in something, or thinking about something, thinking that so many different possibilities exist in occurrence, because of those possibilities something will happen, or something will be better. What people don't understand is, as they progress through different channels in their lives, or as they progress through different stories in their lives, they start to get more and more, I have to find a way to make this something know that there's a difference between what you're feeling and how you're experiencing life. It's like believing entirely in the story that is your life, and the way that you feel every day is true and valid. But also believing in an imaginary something, or something that did exist but doesn't anymore, or thinking that something will come from some far-off land or far-off dimension or something like that and help you with your problems, is not only a farce, it's a high improbability. And but believing in the fact that there are burdens that we all take on, and believing in the fact that there are things that we try to escape to because of it. We try to escape to something, and that's the reason why I think that when a person experiences what is possibly the highest point in their life, they express, I'd say, bigger emotions than you can possibly think of. And the emotions of what I'm saying, and the things that I'm saying, I'm trying to get to know a certain part of comfortability. Being comfortable and realizing being comfortable doesn't deserve its own storyline. Because I've noticed that a lot of people, when they make those certain aspects of being comfortable, it's not associated with any gratification. You're tricking yourself basically into believing a story or something about your mentality when that truly and isn't the case. Truly and completely surely isn't the case. But believing in that until something helps, until you believing that, and not until believing in that while knowing that something can and will help you is the only way through self-gratification and self-satisfaction. Realizing that there is hope somewhere, and that somewhere could be coming to you soon, I guess. Or that something could be getting there, like, where people need to be, I guess. People don't understand sometimes that not everyone has everything in the bag, and I've noticed that a lot of times people think and believe in a place that there are political ties to, that people just want the land because it's the only place that they have to be alone, or to be not messed with for at least a while. And it always baffles me, because I truly want to get to know their intentions. I want to get to know their intentions because their intentions don't supersede a force or of nature that people themselves are able to. It isn't connected in any way with something that. It's like, I don't get it, man. There are people that think that having faith or having hope is the opening to all avenues. But noticing the opening to all avenues is not faith nor hope. It's not your belief in something it's like.
Suspects heading onto the freeway. Roger.
I think that's the reason why I stopped playing Dark Souls so heavy. Because I started seeing correlations between what people were doing and how people were using themselves.
Suspect last seen on Sonora Freeway.
Or how people thought they were using themselves.
Mountain.
There are very big opportunities when it comes to feeling comfortable and being able to perform in a certain situation or with a certain task, but that's only what sparks curiosity to other people. And when it only sparks curiosity and something is there to be able to make sure that people get what they need and get how they want it, they create a fiction on top of a fact. If they create that fiction on top of a fact, what they're doing is creating an ideal to an entire people that I think is wrong sometimes. Most of the time because of the fact that what people are used to. And it also has to do with what people really need in life as well. And when I think they don't need it anymore, or I think they don't want it anymore, there's a difference between needing and wanting. And it's not needing and getting that I've liked about OK Go. about OK Go, the band. It's not about actually getting what you want sometimes. I'm not saying that I don't want what I want. I'm not saying I don't like what I want. But I am saying that I'm not trying to be someone who I'm not. And I'm not trying to say that the things in my life are going to create some sort of amazing story that will baffle everyone and bring me out of what I'm actually trying to, out of what I'm actually trying to avoid. Son of a bitch. I tried to go backwards and I should have gone backwards. But noticing where your life stops and where your life stops. Noticing where your ideas stop. Sorry, I didn't mean to say something. Noticing whether your ideas stop and inspiration incurs itself with every single possibility that could ever come out of those things. Realize that your brain goes through so many different struggles to try to figure out every single thing that it's possibly seeing or possibly knowing, that it comes up with things that aren't the truth. And granted, there's only I guess maybe 2.5 terabytes of information, including your frontal lobe. Because 1 terabyte isn't good enough, because your brain essentially has RAM and ROM. So it's 2.5, kind of. Because it's every single situation you've learned before and thought about in a certain way, but it's not molded your brain in any way. But what it has done is let you think about things very quickly. So that's about, I'd say, I'd give or take about 2.5 terabytes. Because it's, RAM is like, it's like you see things on your screen. You know where that website leads. You see things on your computer screen. You know where that website leads. It leads to nothing but messed up pictures and messed up places and things you've seen before already, and it only gets worse. I'm referring to Rotten.com, but and I thought just using that as an example. But you know that it gets worse. You know that they have terrible, terrible things on there. And that's why when you see the caption for it or the thing, you're like, oh, I don't want to go there. But you're not using that information anymore. You're saying something that hasn't imprinted on you, but you've experienced before, and those things don't don't tell you what you know that you are, or how you know yourself to be. You're not trying to what's the word? What's the word? You're not trying to build on anything. You're trying to make a part of yourself believe something that you've already experienced through muscle memory. So, granted, it's about 2.5 terabytes because they have it wrong. You're not actually using your brain to go through every single experience that you've ever experienced. Your brain starts to gain more knowledge and information all the time, and it uses it with different signals and words, like, I don't like this letter, or I don't like this thing. That's what a child's brain goes through. It's like, I don't like this letter, and I don't like this thing because I don't like the way it looks. Why don't you like the way it looks? Because I don't like the color of it that was surrounded by it, because there was a teacher that yelled at me and told me to eat my food. There's so many different things that people decide what they're going to do, and son of a bitch. There we go. But yeah, that's basically, oh man, it's basically the way that someone's brain starts to develop, and the way that people can't even fathom, I guess, the amount of information that it can hold. I guess I'm not sure, because people can think that the brain, if it's bigger, then it holds more information. That's not entirely true, but because it depends upon what part of the brain you're trying to add upon, and if brain transplants or head transplants or any of that stuff was actually available, people would understand that people do stay in a state of it's like, that's the reason why people think about zombies, I guess, and they came up with the whole zombie thing, because they did experiments on people and people started to do reflexes, because the brain and the body work as one cohesive tool. People want to understand the facts that are cohesive member, I guess, not a tool, because if it's a tool, then it I don't know. I'm not gonna elaborate on that stuff, because I'm not actually a professional. I only read some of the books on it. But the way that your mind goes through so many different possibilities, the way that your mind sees every single possibility and tries to understand what they're going to experience, how they're going to experience it, the way they're going to experience it, if your mind starts to, stop any possibility from happening, or if your body wants to stop something from happening, that's the reason why I think sometimes people's bodies convulse. And I think that's the basis of all kind of epilepsy, I guess. Or not epilepsy, but color differentiation about something. It's like people have a muscle memory, and if they see someone get in a fight, and they're like, wow, that dude got knocked out, and you see the same colors flash over and over again, eventually someone could be able to make sure that a person had a seizure, or not be able to make sure, but try to go through experiments. And that's the reason why also I don't believe in experimentation through television. Because everyone doesn't know what you think. No one knows exactly what you think. They only know what you say. I've noticed this because people themselves don't understand that they're building on something, and that shit. And then through that building, I guess, building that thing, building that thing that inside of your mind, saying that thing inside of your mind is complete, or a complete thought. You can shut yourself off from creating different things. So basically, sometimes feeling comfortable about a certain situation can make you feel comfortable, but in given situations afterwards, you'll feel too comfortable and not know what to do. But there are certain people that know what to do, that have trained their mind and their body through various amounts of lots and lots of training, that have had way more training than anyone could ever have, because of the amount of things that they needed to do at that certain time. But also to notice the things that you're creating. And when you notice, I guess, what you're noticing about being comfortable, or being comfortable at all, notice the people around you that are clamoring, or that are telling you feel good about yourself, and you should feel good about yourself, because a part of you isn't all bad. Even if you are the worst person, or the individual that ever existed, realize that there are not a lot of people who really know how good they are. They just don't give themselves enough credit. There are people out there that think that they've gone through so much and so little, and they've tried to cut off themselves for so long because of, like, say for example that girl that was held by the recently just happened, Joseph Wood. He shares my name, but not my sentiment, obviously. But he was caught, and that's a good thing. But 15 years after he had enslaved a woman and kept him in his basement, and there's so many things that people would like to believe is real, or could be real, and there are certain people who like to play make-believe because they've gone through harrowing, terrible, completely mind-altering experiences, and they want to be able to stop. They want to be able to just calm down, and they want to be able to not believe in something that's just to not be around, basically, to be able to see with eyes unclouded by the judgment they felt, or even put on the person who was capturing them or hurting them in any way. So, feeling comfortable is good. Feeling satisfied is kind of better, I guess, because it helps you realize the situation's end. Or it helps you realize that a situation should end, and that you should feel better about it. And I just lifted that trailer with my motorcycle. That is fun. I'd say that there are bigger reasons why people don't understand that if they're just feeling comfortable, that doesn't mean that they should feel comfortable. It's like, there's a bigger reason why people don't know that their futures are in some ways intertwined, I guess. Sometimes. That people feeling comfortable in what they believe in and how they believe in it. It makes people feel comfortable when they're able to create something with zero to no resistance. But whatever they feel comfortable about creating is completely and utterly just kind of wrong, I guess. Especially in the case of Joseph Wood. There are certain people, though, that if they build on a better future for themselves, if they realize that through no fault of their own, they were affected by something or someone, and that something in someone decided to instill a thought or an action in them because of a certain thing they saw either on TV or anything like that, or reading even a book, because people themselves like to portray a certain ecstasy in reading a book. People like to portray a certain calmness, or it's like just because you're reading a book doesn't mean you're calm. Just because you're sitting down doing nothing doesn't mean your mind isn't racing for the next opportunity to be able to realize what possibility is going to be next, or what utterance this person is going to be able to make. I'd say there's a huge difference in what people themselves try to build on and what people actually feel comfortable with. Their intent does not disprove, or not intent, but satisfaction does not disprove intent. And that's, I think, what people don't get sometimes when they think about therapy, or they think about things like that. I realized that even though the people around me had a good time when they were being therapeutic to each other, they still would have done things of accordance to their character. And in accordance to their character. They're not gonna become just better people out the gate. It takes a long time before someone finds a reflex. Finds a reflex and says to that reflex, I'm gonna keep you, or I'm gonna keep you within my mind, within the things that I feel as though are but noticing all that, noticing the facts of the matter, the facts that people themselves don't know when to change or how to change, because they don't understand what possibilities are around, or what probabilities are, or even not advantageous, but probable, I guess. I think what people really need to start understanding about their future, and about the way that they feel, or the way that they know things, is I'd say the way that they feel comfortable being in a certain place, with a certain thing, with a certain person, in a certain area. But what they don't feel comfortable with, or how they don't feel comfortable, is their intent to escape, or to in whatever situation it becomes, or it is, or ever there was, if ever there was. Whatever people kind of whatever people see for themselves in the future, whatever constant cycle they go through in life.
Lucky miss.
Whatever realization there is, when you're understanding a certain person, you have to understand that satisfaction does not prove intent. So if a person stops doing, say if that person decided to rob a bunch of people, or not just rob a bunch of people, but steal money and then expect to get something back. Steal money or take money and expect to think that they were stopping something or stopping someone, instead of making another victim, or proving a punishment not worthy of whatever crime they committed. Realize that there are certain people out there that care, and there are people that know about your struggles, because they realize the situation, they know the thing that you're trying to create, they know the things that you want to make for yourself, and that you want to build on, and not just to be able to build on something that's available to you, but the fact of the fact of realization that people themselves don't stop doing something just because you've done something that they want you to do. Just because you've made an appearance and you've told people exactly how you feel, or you've said something that's amazing or something that's cool. Realize that whenever you leave from a situation, whenever you find it available to the fact that whenever you find it available that there is some sort of satisfaction out there that you haven't experienced yet, and that experience is buildable and works with what you really want, but not only works with what you really want, but tells you something to live for that isn't just a purpose. That's what I think people don't understand about religion, is that so many people just considered it a purpose, a reason to be able to do something that they thought was good, whether they were a good person or not, considered by or even perceived by other people or their peers or anything like that. And also some people can use the perception of good to be able to do heinous acts and terrible, terrible things. Or the perception of a reflex, to be able to say something, or say something that is completely and utterly nonsensical, just to create something that they feel like makes sense to them, but makes sense to no one else because they never shared it with anyone. And it's the same fact of it, the same fact that they share it, or that they don't share it, or the same fact that they don't share it, keeps them alienated from the rest of the world. So, I know, I guess, that there are situations in which I don't divulge my identity, or don't divulge exactly where I am, or exactly how I am, or exactly what I do. There are certain situations that I, myself, get mixed up, I guess, in a certain thing. I get mixed up in friends that are cool, friends that are fun, friends that are weird, friends that are really weird. And I realized that the motion of what I'm trying to say, or the thing that I'm trying to get at, is the more you feel comfortable about something that's positive, the more you feel the emotion of not just living in a box, or not just living in a place where nothing's available to you, but building on that. And realizing that no person is going to make you feel like you're worse, I guess, like you're worse off. There are people out there that know things because they're stalkers, and it sucks. There are also people out there that think that they can build on something or make a relationship off of literally just nothing. That don't know that they have to extend an olive branch or extend something instead of just working at a place called the Olive Branch. Not saying that that's an actual place. Not to say that, I mean, not to say that any religion I don't use, I guess, because to say that any religion is not helpful at all is a fallacy and is a falsehood. To say that any writing that any religion comes up with that their intentions are good and their intentions are not to cause violence or hurt towards anyone, and realize that everyone's gone through pain and that they have to be the stand tall people, the people who stand tall in the face of adversity and danger, and they have to know that people themselves will do what is asked of them. And I think it has to do with the way that people communicate sometimes, and what people think that they should be paid for. You should not be paid to be a good person, to say something to someone. You should not be paid to act like there's a certain something there. If a person's in danger, and you know that it's imminent danger, like if there is an explosion and it just happened, what would you do? Would you run in to save someone? Would you do something really quickly? Call 911? Obviously, immediately, that's just the first thing you should do in America.
Top of the food chain!
Yeah, hold down the button, it's funny. But also realizing that there are instances of people building on what their faith is, on what they believe in and how they believe it, just because, and just to be able to fix someone else that they don't know or don't even care about otherwise. But those are people who are in hospitals. Those are people who are doctors. Those are people who get paid to do the bad things, or do the good things, or do the perceived bad things, because I know that children perceive blood and guts to be bad things, but humans themselves that are fully formed and I know myself to exist and know that blood is a good thing when it's inside of a body, or being held up by a what's the word, what are those prongy thingies? Gosh darn it. Oh man, I don't know what those prongy thingies are. But they're prongy thingies, and they stand and they hold blood bags and saline solution to be able to help people and make sure that they can do the things they need to do and help people, because people don't understand it sometimes. People don't understand all that other stuff. But if anyone chooses not to take a blood transfusion and they choose to die because they're stupid, hey, I mean, perceived by me, obviously, but it's not bad if someone wants to go. If someone's done all they could ever do and say all those things, but it's not anyone else's choice, except for a government that wants them to be able to be productive and work and do things and not just die. And also their perceived family and immediate family and extended family that want them to be able to produce themselves into a better part of their lives. And realize that those the things that people say are stupid sometimes, and they think that their depression, and it's your cellular structure speaking to you and telling you. I think people don't understand it. That's the reason why. It's like it's your cellular structure speaking to you. It's like I know I'm not a professional, but I know that there's a voice somewhere. There's a voice that tells you, or you tell yourself. It's not really a voice, but it's more like an insinuation of cellular structure. It's like your own it's your very own ticker, not thing. It's like a stock ticker, basically, telling you what's going on with your body and how you either aren't far off or are far off on whatever you're doing. It's like, you know whether or not when you take a step in the one direction, whether you'll take the other step in the other direction based on how you balance your foot the first time. Not the first time you've ever balanced your foot, but the first step. And when you... Shit! When you feel comfortable being in that balanced position, you'll take the next step. So it's like therapy, basically, when you think about it. It's like therapy itself. The people that are around and are there for you are only there if you're there for yourself. It's like the dude who's homeless or something like that only feels good. Shit. Only feels good when he gets a job and he's be able to get himself together and he'll be able to do stuff. But some people are at their lowest point sometimes, and they need encouragement and help to be able to build upon themselves a future, to be able to make something of themselves and make better the reasons that I think are so... The reasons that I think are so amazing, that what people, I guess, are so credible, I guess, is people's innate ability to be so intuitive and helpful and good, I guess. I guess the reasons what you really the reasons that you really need to affix yourself to, and that means attune. The ways you really need to affix yourselves onto a problem, or what you believe to be as a solution, but could be a problem if elements or things or variables don't work out the way they're supposed to. I think the biggest parts of what you really need to build for yourself, for myself, because I the biggest parts of what I really need to build on my psyche is that people don't understand where they get things from sometimes. People don't understand where they push things to sometimes. People don't understand where they affix their gaze onto someone and how they affect someone's life, or how they affect someone's or where their careers will go if they keep doing the same things over and over again. Where their lives will go. Where my career will go because of it. Because I will undoubtedly sometimes try to believe or try to think that there is a I will undoubtedly try to believe or try to think that there's a bigger reason for all of it, or a bigger reason for a lot of it. And hopefully that doesn't affect anyone else. I think, I hope, and I know that there, to me, is no religion that will ever have my back. Because it's not like It's not that they won't have my back. It's not that they won't try to understand every problem. It's that I will undoubtedly replace all of my guilt and all of my hurt on the people that I don't believe in. And those people are Jesus Christ and Buddha and all those other different entities or people that existed at one point but don't exist anymore. The things they taught may have helped people in certain situations of need and of change. But I don't believe that any of them are coming back, no matter what. Because inherently people themselves are good and evil. Bad and good. No matter what a situation calls for. Because the things they never prepare for, and the things they always think that are going to happen, and then it's going to save their life forever. Because people undoubtedly believe in death. And I'm not teaching or saying anything to anyone, or anything like that. I'm not saying that there's something that needs to be done about it. I'm not saying that there's anyone that should be standoffish about someone. It's just realize that people themselves aren't inherently good or evil. And you shouldn't project your philosophical and or bilateral or self-comatose inducing jargon on someone. And I believe that's the reason why I probably still don't have any followers. But basically seeing a problem and where it goes. Seeing a thing and what it goes to. Seeing something and realizing what's been affecting it or what's affecting you because of the situations that happened beforehand. Realizing that that possibility can happen and realizing that that possibility is happening is what keeps people alive sometimes. Realizing that you're needed and realizing that you know things. And also realizing that there is no other way to be able to build on something better than feeling comfortable in a situation and realizing that you can still use your actions to create and make a difference. And I think that there is I think there's a bigger difference in what people see and react to every day. Even though there are things that are constantly trying to make them feel like they're not better than anyone. Like these actions, and I'm actually just controlling a controller. And I realize the fact that I'm not doing any of this stuff. And that's the reason why I choose not to be in first person view, because I don't really feel like a what's the word? Associating myself with these actions. Unless they're good, I guess. Unless I get on a motorcycle and go save a puppy from a burning a puppy from a burning bush. Or helping a person realize their independence. Helping someone realize the fact that they don't have to be dependent on someone for anything, even if they don't ever choose to come here ever again. Even if they don't ever choose to be on this world ever at all. No matter what you choose to do, no matter how you choose to be able to create something or be able to be someone that's there for each other or be there for yourself, and that's it. Realize that there's something about feeling comfortable in a situation. I'm not using that song as any sort of emotional, what's the word? And no, I'm not trying to ever be a martyr for anyone. The things you build and don't realize can sometimes be the places that trap you. But there are certain things you should understand in every situation. If you feel comfortable in an amount of chaos, then partly by not stopping it, you may have caused it. But realizing that people themselves have to take responsibility for their own actions is the biggest realization that you could ever even know. It takes sometimes a lot of teams to be able to work out the entire situation that actually happened instead of what people actually think happened. So no matter what your inside voices are, no matter what your inside thing tells you, no matter what anyone tells you about anything that ever happens to you, realize you don't deserve it. Realize you don't deserve being felt on by men. You don't deserve it. You don't have to be it. You don't have to be that person. Realize you don't have to be built by someone, because they're just lying and saying that they're going to build you, and they're trying to keep you on call. Realize that there is no instance of anyone that could create another life without at first trying to make appropriations to be able to know what life itself on this planet even wants. Because I know for a fact that any pregnancy at all is an agreement. I know for a fact any person believing in something that is a falsehood has some sort of abuse or some sort of hurt trapped inside of their mind that they can't get out. And I know that every single person who goes through a trying experience or a terrible experience or any experience needs to heal in some way, shape, or form. Needs to believe in something different for a change, or someone different, in order to get that hate or that hurt out of their mind and realize that it wasn't theirs to begin with. It was just something trying to change their mind into what they thought they wanted to be because of the hurt and because of the hate. But I also know that having that hurt, or having that injustice, or having even the thought of that injustice can sometimes keep you alive in situations of emergency or terrible things that ever happen. Because realize that if you are peaceful in any and every shape or form, you might be that person that winds up freezing. You might be that person that winds up running away when situations need you the most. Or you might even be that person who does the right thing, even though they weren't the person for the job. And that's just maybe my experiences, because I have done things that I'm proud of. I have done things that I'm not proud of. And, but through those experiences, I have built an assessment. And my assessment is that I like Earth. It's fun. I like this world, and I like this universe. I like this place, and I really am, what's the word? I really am trying to be able to build something. I am trying to make a company, even though some people might not think it to be true. Some people might not think that I want to build something for myself, or I want to make something for myself. And I do like doing this because it pisses other people off sometimes. I go on servers sometimes, and people want to team up with me, and then I run into stuff. I really find it funny, and that's the way that I think I make people. I'm not afraid, but frustrated. Because I can't do it in real life, because I know that I'd lose friends left and right. Feeling satisfied about something, and I feel satisfied about the way that I talk sometimes. Sometimes I don't breathe. Sometimes I don't breathe deeply. And I have to remind myself sometimes. It sucks, and that's a part of the schizoaffective disorder. My sometimes internal functions, they don't happen because of me relaxing my body too much, or tensing my body too much. It has to do not with my medication, but the fact that I took a whole bunch of different medications before I actually got to the medication that was right for me. And it might be a reflex, but I don't know, and I hope to have someone's opinion on it. Maybe a doctor. I don't know. Or a physician, or a psychiatrist, I guess. Not a doctor. But I'm not in any emergency at all. I'm just talking to myself and making up stuff sometimes. Because I realize that there are bigger reasons for what people experience in everyday life. And I realize the reasons that people don't understand where they are sometimes, or understand where they're going, or understand where they're going to be after they go there. I really think that there are bigger reasons for a lot of things that happen. And I know that there are bigger things happening in this world that people don't understand or don't know. And no religion and or thing could ever describe it. Because I know that this place and these people and these things are going through a change. But instead of being a part of that change, I'm going to step back and realize where I stand on issues, and realize that if people wanted a personal savior, they would have cloned Jesus. And they didn't. They would have come up with cloning technology before Christ, and then, like, oh, no, it didn't happen. Farted. Oh, man. There are big reasons why people believe in so many things and think that everything's possible. Because in some cases, there really are possibilities that people would get boggled by, because some actual elements create a working light. It's not a complete light, but it's an LED, and it's called fiber optics. And there are so many different uses that people can use for fiber optics, and use for a lot of things, to be able to make a better situation for people, and make a better situation for better citizens of whatever place. But it takes not only satisfaction, but care and comfort to be able to create one of those places. And it takes good people in any situation to be able to create something that is good for everyone. Not someone who is sensitive to those things, but someone that realizes that someone somewhere needs something, and they're going to do the best they can to be able to make sure that they get there, or that they get a product there for someone to be able to do things with. There are big reasons why I decide every day that it's going to be a good day, no matter what happens. To be able to stay calm, cool, and collected in any given situation that happens. And not only realize the difference between what I'm seeing and what I know, or what I'm hearing when I think that there is some sort of voice that I'm hearing. To realize the fact that I don't have to be violent. I don't have to be angry that this voice is near me. I don't have to be attuned to anyone else. I don't have to be built in to anything to be able to know when something is wrong about it. I don't have to know what I'm not seeing, but I can use what I'm seeing to know what I don't. And I'm gonna blow something up. Alright, here we go. And we're gonna get a safe distance away. Since it's just the explosive, there's not a lot of things that aren't left in the thing. I think this is about something, and we're gonna keep on going. Yeah, I thought there was 5. Oh yeah, I still have 7. I have 7. Okay, I used them all. Alright, I try to build on stuff that I, there we go. Boom. Sorry, guy. I've tried very hard to be able to build on stuff that I know to seize things that I don't know, but I guess I probably made a made a heavy assumption about things sometimes. That that someone, if I don't believe that they are the way they are, then they won't be that for a very long time. And I think that's what people don't realize about equations, is that equations don't take into example equations don't take into example or into physical or mental change. People don't understand or try to realize where they're going, or how they're going there, or the way they're going. And I think that there is a bigger relationship with what people find. Dang it, they're tankers, but they don't hold anything friggin' flammable. Shit. But realize this. The more you feel satisfied about a situation, the more you feel comfortable in that situation. But it's not the other way around. The more you feel comfortable in a situation, the more that your satisfaction, or what you believe is satisfaction, but it is your curiosity that is sparked. And it is only your curiosity. Because if you believe in being satisfied in a state of array or disarray, I'm sorry, in a state of disarray or disorganization, then all you're asking for is an abundance of terror, fear, terror, fear, misunderstandings, and in some ways idiocracy. In some ways. But building on what you know, building on how you know it, if you feel comfortable in a situation that makes you feel comfortable, then that's valid, and it makes you, and you should feel validated in that fact, in that sense. So feel validated. You got something done. You do something. You did something. You did anything you possibly could. Because you didn't know what to do. And I'm speaking directly to the victim. Who got taken by Joseph Wood. And decided that she was going to go with him. Because she didn't know any better. Because she was just a child. And no, nothing is going to prepare them for a situation that nothing will ever prepare any child in a situation that would happen like that. And no parent is to blame. You can say that there's parents to blame, but realize that that child could have cursed. If that child knew cursing, or knew anything, Basically what they could have done. And if you see something, say something. Because if you don't know that people are out to help you, that people are out to be there for you, that people want you to succeed, then you'll never know. But it depends on what they want you to succeed at. If they want you to succeed at being a successful drug dealer, then things are probably left up to nothing, because it's usually left up to choice, and it always is. Realize that there are so many things that people themselves get themselves into and don't realize is the worst part of their life. Because they're in a stupor, or they're up in a place where it's way too hot. Or when they don't realize that no matter what I do, though, there's no changing it. And there's no changing those people. No matter what you do. You can't change some people because they're just all about revenge. No matter how they feel, no matter the way they feel, no matter the way they're doing something. You can't be on someone's side that constantly thinks about fear and revenge. I don't believe in religion, but I really believed in justice. And the fact that they would have their day of reckoning. And no matter what I perceived it, or when I perceived it to be, they would start to regret it. Or they would hopefully start to regret it the moment they decided not to be. Thank you for helping with me, no one, and thank you for helping me have the silence to get this out. Sometimes I like to look at mountains. Sometimes I like to look at trees. Thank you, Rockstar. This is in no way sponsored, but thank you so much. Because it got me to be able to figure out through situations that happen every day, and it helped me realize a sense of myself and be on the right side of what I think the situation is. Any situation. Be better for yourself and be better for everyone else. And the most of what you'll realize is there's a bigger institution of learning waiting for you. There's a bigger place out there that when you think there's a situation, when you think there's something working, then there always is. You just have to be able to find out what's working for you at any given situation, realize what's working for you, and you can be able to try, if not realize the diffusal of that situation, or that bad thing that you think and or know is going to happen. So, I'm gonna see how many lost dudes are in this place. There we go. Shit! Only took out one of them. Remember, a motorcycle isn't a recliner. Motorcycles are so dangerous. Have a good day, and thank you for listening. If you ever do.